Alright, hello everybody and welcome to the second day of the first week of CSL Season 5. We're bringing you the second Division 1 match of the weekend, which is going to be the replay of Avail versus Cruxis. Today I'm joined by a new caster who we're bringing on, Simon.
Good afternoon.
So we're going to be bringing you this match. We're just pretty much going to introduce both teams. Obviously we've got Avail, which they're a strong team, obviously. They've been in the Division 1 community for years now, but now all of these new teams are coming out. They are predicted to get some of the bottom spots, so hopefully they can pull out a win here. And obviously we have Cruxis, which is a very new team, formed about a few months ago, which is full of a lot of players, and they are most renowned to be a good clan due to their Skypeless play. So unfortunately we couldn't get the first race here for you because of technical difficulties, but we do know the score, which, if I quickly check, it was something like 42 to 19 or something along those lines. Yeah, 42 to 19. So going into the second race here, hopefully, as you can see, the tracks being picked, mostly luck tracks. They've got Mario circuits, but Maple Treeway, which is a very interesting track.
Do we know whether Cruxis will be bagging?
I highly doubt Cruxis will. Obviously, we're going to have to see what rules are played first, since there's troll rules.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Cruxis were to go with no overlap.
Yeah. If Cruxis were the hosting team, they're most likely going to go with that since it benefits them the most. As it does look like most of the players are driving forward, which means there's not going to be any suicide bagging as of yet, so this definitely favours Cruxis.
Yeah. Xander here in fourth place, correct?
Yeah, this is Xander.
Yep. Xander in third place, 1-3 for Cruxis at the moment.
I'm not 100% sure on me names, but most people use the regular name that they're using. Obviously, we've got Hex in there, who's just
Zoan is up there. I believe Sean is also in the lineup, so out for him. And
very, very strong lineup coming out for Cruxis here, as I've got Mikey and Sean, who are two of the best front runners in the community right now.
Yep.
But a single shroom, I mean, he's most likely just going to save this single shroom to take the shortcut and get into a top spot. As Hexen pulls out them reds really close to Xander there, that was pretty risky.
Everyone's taking the shortcut, and I do notice that there's one person miles in last who's probably going to be.
I think I quickly saw from the bow glitch that was Nozzles, aka Nisty. So Avail definitely going to have to be getting this shock most races.
Yeah, they just lost a few of their top spots there, holding on to 2-3, but I believe they just lost that with a top 3 for Cruxis at the moment.
Top shot running for Cruxis. So hopefully they can get a shock, maybe dodge top 3 out of the cannon, so Avail can get their members up there.
Yeah. They can't let their top spots break away, though. They need to stay with them and try and keep up so that their shot can be effective.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Avail just need to kind of keep up with them and try and dodge, but if they let this top 3 break so far, then the shock's just going to be less effective.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure who's in first. I know it's someone called Andre. I have to try and find out who that is from someone, but top 3 still. And this top 3 break's getting rather large, as Tommy does confirm that is Crusher in first. So Crusher, Mikey, Sean, Xander, and Hexen, which is a
There's the shot. Prior to that shot, Cruxis did actually have top 5, so it wasn't looking too great for Avail.
It does look like Avail do get the shock and the blue shell, which is really effective, but still top 2 and a second place shroom.
Someone's using the Mega behind them, probably an Avail member who dodged in the cannon and held it.
By the way, if someone could do scores in the chat, or someone in the shoutcasting chat, that would be much appreciated, since I haven't got time for that.
Yeah, I should be able to keep a hold of it, though. Top 2 for Cruxis at the moment. He chains his shroom in second place. Standing behind Mikey, doesn't want to bump him.
This looks like a top 4 currently.
Top 4 at the moment for Cruxis. And
I think that was a top 4 with Arceus and Hexen getting 3-4 there at the end.
Baldwin attempts to salvage something for his team with that cannon dodge, but I don't think it was enough.
How many points are in a race?
61.
61, yeah.
It's a top
4-6, which is nearly one of the best races you can actually get, so Cruxis have already got a 30 to 40 point lead in 2 races.
Which going into this race with a 23 point lead, that is a really big race.
And that was actually the GP ending there, so sorry about that one, but that was GP1, I suppose. We'll have to...
We'll just skip on to the next GP, that should be fun.
I guess we'll mainly be doing GP2 and 3 here, but...
Cruxis at the moment really taking a hold of this match.
That GP picture did go by pretty quickly, but that went past, but it did look like Cruxis had a lot of top spots.
Unfortunately, we don't have access to the earlier races of the war, but hopefully we can still make it as enjoyable as possible for these last few races, with Avail looking to try and mount a comeback here.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard for Avail to get this win, but I mean, hopefully we can get Avail getting these top spots. But as you said, Cruxis is one of the best front-running clans right now, so it's going to be hard to break down that top 3 and top 4s that they're getting.
Yeah. Interesting to see what kind of track picks we're looking at here. I noticed that the host of the room was from Avail, so maybe a few top spots for Avail there. They could possibly pick a front-running track to try and...
A Movie Highway or Bowser's Castle.
Yeah, that would be the ideal kind of track for them in this current situation. We shall see. Bowser's Castle 3 for Xander. Very, very...
Yeah. I remember
very
when the 1v1 territory thing was a thing. Bowser's Castle 3 was Xander's track, and I don't think he actually lost it, so one of his strong tracks.
Yeah.
As really diverse track picks from everyone. There's usually in most matches you see one team pick all 5 people pick one race, but we've got Mario Circuit, Dry Ruins, Daisy Circuit, Cooper Cake. As we're going to go to TF, which is going to benefit Avail since they do have that host, so meaning they're going to be able to stay in these top spots, hopefully.
I believe Avail have 1-4, so their person in 4th place may be able to get a draft, but
exactly.
once again, that's a problem track where they can't allow Cruxis to break away.
Exactly. Hopefully, 163 to 81, I think that's... If that is, then that's a very good GP win. That's plus 82 straight off the bat.
That would add up.
That would add up. I think that could be right.
That is an incredible GP.
And that's straight. That's 2 plus 40 GPs that Avail need in a row, which is still pretty hard to do.
Yeah, they're going to really have to start mounting their comeback as soon as possible. At the moment, Zoan driving in 1st place, trying to break away from the rest of the pack. Holding out to
Xander does have this red shell, but Zone pretty tactical with his back spam, making them go wide.
Yeah.
It looks like he's going to take Shroomus as well as... Oh no, he doesn't, so... Xander's in 1st because of that. And I'm pretty sure Crush is in 2nd. Oh no, it's Zone.
Yeah.
He could try and red it from the side here, as he does go for that, but doesn't get it off.
Zoan manages to slow up a member of Cruxis, I believe.
So if Zone can hold this 1st place, that would be very good, but if as you can see once again, we have that person who's 10-20 seconds behind, who's most likely an Avail member.
Yeah, possibly the same man as the HQO race, potentially.
I think that is Nifty back there. Zone's going to back spam.
Good back spamming from Zoan.
That's a very good green because he realises then bananas were there, so he'd have to go wide, and then he green.
At the same time as Hex
shock comes in. That's an Avail shock as they dodge in a build, so this is a very good Avail race as of now.
Xander gets back spammed and Hexen gets a TC. This is looking good for Avail at the moment. Maybe possibly a potential of a...
The only running presence that Cruxis really have right now is Arceus, who just got back spammed, so it wouldn't surprise me if there's a top 2 right now from Avail.
Yeah.
As Xander does hold this goal enough all the way to 3rd, as he is going to be able to catch up to this top 2, which indeed is Avail, looking at the mini-map. Which is... Oh, Nisty's actually running this time, and the back red.
Good back
that's a top 3 for Avail right now, which is what they need. And Xander misses the box, and Hexen's starring him, and that's just... It's a rip for him. Oh, they do get a last-second shot, so they could shock Hexen into boxes, maybe. But, yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to dodge Hexen. Hopefully he can pull something. If there's a bill here, that'd be nice, but he only gets a star. So definitely an Avail winning race because of that.
Yeah, Avail did well with their back spamming there. They managed to eliminate Xander numerous occasions and coincided with Hexen starring his own teammate. That was good play from Avail that race.
That's a 1-3-4 coming out from Avail, which is the races that they need to really get back into this because they're down around 80 so far after 1 GP.
1, 3, 4, 7, 9. Do we know who Leffert is?
Leffert? I'm not 100% sure.
I think it's Storm. Yeah, I think it's Storm.
Yeah, Storm.
I think, because he recently transferred over to them.
Misty, Mugen, Zone, Bolin and Storm. Which is a decent lineup. They have better lineups, obviously, but Avail were hurt with most of their players transferring over to Cruxis and Charge Brigade.
I believe Dave is still registered for Avail.
Yep, they still have Dave and Frenchie, who they're not using for this match, which is very surprising. Maybe they couldn't.
Possibly unavailable to play. That will set them back a bit, but they still have a solid lineup, as you just said, and that could give them a chance to do something well in this match.
Exactly, they just need to carry up that form with the shock. I mean, that shock was good. If they have running presence, such as Zone, just back spamming them and have the rest just get dodges and shock, then that's very useful.
On the 2 races that we have seen so far, they've both had Zoan up in the front, back spamming rigorously and really keeping his team in a lot of these races.
Exactly, as we're going to have, once again, just random track picks from everyone as Hexen's RBC does get picked. Now, once again, this is a track where Zone can just stay in first and just keep back spamming due to all the tight turns on this track. And hopefully they can get shock and dodge up again, but you never know. Cruxis could just get an early draft and get straight into first.
Judging by the way this has been played so far, I do believe I'm correct in saying that it is no overlap. Probably,
Yeah, definitely.
Probably,
If there was trolling, Avail would definitely take use of that.
yeah,
I
inferring.
mean,
that
it could be suicide bagging, but they're just staying at the back. But
I doubt
suicide
it.
bagging and no overlap is kind of just
I
the same.
doubt that would happen really,
Yeah.
but it's possible for sure. Seeing as Avail would know that Cruxis wouldn't be bagging.
Yeah,
Misty getting taken out there early on. A lot of mid spots here for Cruxis.
and that is a top 3 currently for Cruxis.
It was a
Short
momentary
Mike and
top
Crusher.
5.
Top 4, yeah. Maybe even a top 5 if that's Hexen back there.
Yeah, which was surprising considering Avail started in 1-3-4. They really had a grip on this race, and it was a
Yeah,
good
I'm not
track.
exactly sure what happened to Zone. He might have got sniped out first, but top 4 break at the end of lap 1, which is really surprising.
Shock.
And Avail are going to have to use an early shock to catch up.
Yeah, they will definitely be looking for that second shot later on.
As Crusher gets target shocked or something, or hits some kind of backspam. But it's still top 3, but a blue shot comes in for Mikey, so Xander's just going to draft into first, but still top 2. Oh, his bowling shrooms up, so this is what they need, the running presence.
Yeah, more. They're going to need a few players to support Ballin, though. I doubt he can do it on his own at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Bowling is lucky to avoid that banana and fib, as they're going to desperately try and get him, and he pulls a second place shroom, so he could easily chain this at the grass and take that shortcut, which he's most likely going to do.
His team seems to have a lot of mid spots, so they could possibly obtain a blue shell if Xander were to.
Just
get
for the
him.
triple greens, but he bumps into him, but unfortunately it doesn't actually hit him, as he might try and snipe him at first here. That's exactly what he's going to do, but he's just going to get the draft instead, so first place currently for Cruxis, but Bowlin's still trying to bump him out of the way. Oh, and he bumps him straight into that ground green. And he ground greens Hexen and gets megged by Sean, so unfortunate for Cruxis there.
Cruxis is still 2
But still 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, as you can see, that Rosalina half a lap behind, hopefully they do have that shot which they can use to catch up their other members, but still 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, 6 now as Zone does stream up. Hopefully, Avail do have this shock. I mean, last place isn't really using anything, which kind of does.
No, he just devoted his races to obtaining that shock in terms of Avail's favour. 1-4 for Avail at the moment. Baldwin
I think Avail do have 7 and 8, so if there is a shock, there's most likely going to be a grass chain here or right at the end. We don't see the grass shock, so hopefully there's a shock at the end. If not, I think it's going to be a Cruxis winning race. Although they have first, which the Rosalina in first is obviously Baldwin. He has a breakaway, but the shock comes in. They do TS 2-3 and dodge Mikey and a star, but also Nozzles, aka Nisty, dodged up, so
Xander here in ninth place.
Xander's just going to take a swim. Fair enough. So I think another winning race for Avail, but I don't think it's enough. As Avail, Xander's actually going to go get the 10th there, which you never know, that 1 point could come back to bite him. Every point matters in these matches. As a top 2,
5-6.
top 2, 5, 6, so that shot was definitely effective, and they used it at the right time, I think, to
Yeah,
get
top 4
TS 2
overall,
and 3, which was really good.
top 4 overall for Avail at the moment, and they're also in ninth place instead of 10th. So this is looking very promising.
Top 4, 9, which is the best you can actually get in one of these matches
Yeah.
with Bagger, so really interesting how Avail actually have someone sitting in the back, but the person on 0 is actually on Crux's team, so not going well for Xander right now.
You would think the person in last place would potentially stay closer with the rest of the pack in order to try and gain a few spots at the end of the races, but it doesn't look as though he's doing that.
No. As we're probably most likely just going to see more random track picks as we get BC3, Cooper K, Marisek, and Jojo Ruins. Same tracks that are being picked. And more than likely, if Avail want a benefiting race, they're most likely going to want something such as BC3 to block that shortcut, because other tracks like Jojo Ruins, Maris Circuit, there's so much off-road cuts that you can just utilise that it's really useless being in first. As DK Mountain comes out from Hexen, which I don't really agree with, since top 2 on DK Mountain is really good to hold. And it's going to head and pick GC and Mario Circuit anyway, so
The track pick from Storm on Avail's side, which despite their top spots, I guess they don't have much faith
I guess
in
that does benefit them since they are the one which is going for the shock the most, so
Yeah.
I guess if they do lose their running presence, Storm will most likely get that shock for them.
Yeah, and they have something to fall back on.
Yeah. So as you can see, Storm's just going to be waiting at the line
Yeah, Xander triple reds here, maybe looking to unleash them onto Zoan, and he does do so.
Zone with his French lag is just going to lag shield out of him with the chain chomp though, so
Breakaway,
I think
for Cruxis.
top 2-4 currently for Cruxis, as we do see Hexen and Crusher up there. Triple Stream's in 4th, which is one of the best items you can actually get in 4th. He'll most likely save at least one of these for the shortcut coming up lap 2.
3-4 for Avail. Zoan has triple reds and is looking to fire them onto 2nd place from Cruxis.
Yep.
Exactly looking to take the shortcut and nearly hits the Piranha.
Oh, that's a good play there to pass your own team, make the TC when he has a Mega. So as we see again, top 3 from Cruxis, and it just seems to be a common trend that we've got top spots from Cruxis. Avail are just hanging around the back of the pack with their dodges and hopefully utilising them lap 3 shocks to catch up. But I mean, you can't let him break that much, as Crusher goes straight into that Piranha, and now Xander's going to be redded maybe because of that. But he does block it on a Goomba or a wall.
Hexen looks to be gone in 1st place, but Xander's 2nd place is very much still up for
Yeah,
contention.
top 3 do have a break on the rest of the pack,
Yeah,
which is being 2 Cruxis members and 1 Avail member. But as you can see, Storm's back there, half a lap behind again, not using any items, so we could see a late shot come in here.
would not be surprised maybe at the upcoming
Zone
items.
bumps Xander right into the off-road, so Xander might even dodge. As we see someone in a star.
Starring
6th place
play with
gold
Mike.
is very good. As I still think this is going to be a 1-3-4 race currently from Avail. Cruxis. As Hexen does get that last second shot does come in, and Bolin's going to dodge because of that. And Xander is going to get absolutely killed at the line for the 3rd race in a row. And he's going to be on 1 point. And
Looks like a 8-9 for Cruxis there. Mikey unable
once
to do
again, as we see, Cruxis sitting in them top spots all race and just them utilising shocks. 2, 3, 4, 5 for Avail. So definitely the comeback GP that they need.
it. Yes.
It's just surprising that they're always having these top spots, but great shock usage, as we've seen from Storm so far. They haven't really dodged any of Cruxis' members up, and they're using them well, getting their team into boxes and dodging up into them top spots.
Toward the end of that race, it looked bleak for Avail, but their mid spots weren't doing anything, and that did it did occur to me that one of them was potentially holding a Mega, and that is what happened with Balling.
Yeah.
Ball dodging right at the end and getting them all the spots behind 1st place, so that was really intelligent item usage and save rates from Avail there.
Yeah, Xander not having the best GP so far. He's currently on 1 point after getting absolutely demolished. But this is definitely the GP that Avail need, as I said. They're down 82 going into this GP, so if they get another GP like this, they could definitely go for at least a bonus point, and if not a win.
They would be very happy to come away from this match with a bonus point, considering the caliber of
That
Cruxis.
GP1, I mean, it was like, I looked at the GP picture, it was around like a top 4, 7 overall, which is insane. So, we're going to have more luck tracks being picked, because I agree with them picking these tracks, as you see most of the Avail lineup picking Peach Beach. They're getting these lap 3 dodges, which just help more, really, on these kind of tracks.
Definitely a flaw in the Cruxis system in terms of their excellent front runners, but that means that they can be countered with the shock, which they refuse
Exactly.
to bag for, and that gives other teams a slight advantage over them in that aspect.
Yep, and this being one of the best shock tracks in the game, as on lap 2 the ocean's actually further out, so if you can actually get a dodge in that water, you're going to save a lot of time. As Xander does pull a Mega, he'll most likely hold this for the entire race, as long as he can, at least, so he can try and dodge that late shock, but definitely a good item to have. So we've got 3-4 currently for Avail. I mean, as you can see, Hexen's up there again. I'm not really sure who's up there with him, but
Bomb Snipe from
Bomb Snipe.
Zoan takes
so
out Hexen.
Tani currently in 1st, so 1-3. Zone does have a Soy Sweet. I think he's going to take that stream straight into 1st, as he does. But as expected, Xander's going to hold this Mega for as long as he can.
Zoan in 1st place, but 2-3-4 for Cruxis at the moment. Mega
Exactly.
in 4th place. If Xander
More
can
than likely, I think Xander's going to get a decent spot, because once again, he hits that fib though. If he avoided that fib, he might have got a shock prediction, but he's going to hold this, just use the Mega to try and slag, maybe force a shock usage, but great play here from Xander, as he's Mega balling nearly twice there. So, as we can see, we've still got top spots from Cruxis. I still think Zone is up there, but they need more than one player up there, really, or it's going to be a losing race. But we do see Mikey back here.
Bar in play for
Xander's
Avail.
in 8th again, so really not the GP that Xander's looking for, but
No.
his teammates do get a pretty good race, I think, as he streams past 2 Avail members at the line. So Avail getting a bottom 4, I think, did I just see? Yeah, they are getting that first bottom four, so a very good race there for Cruxis. As Xander pulls out a 5-point GP, which is a shame, I guess.
I'm not entirely convinced that Storm actually got the shock that GP at that race. I mean, because he wasn't using anything, and right at the end when everyone finished, he didn't use anything. And although they did manage to knock out Avail's dodges mid race with those megas, I don't actually think they would have made a difference because I don't think Storm got the shock.
As Tommy does confirm there in the chat that GP was a 20-point win for Avail, but that last race really killed them, and now they need to lose that GP. No, they won that GP by 20, so they're currently down 62.
Yeah.
So they need a 62-point race win.
As we were saying before the beginning of that GP, they needed a roughly plus 40 GP every single time, but they really let themselves down there on that final race, and they'll be extremely disappointed on that.
275 to 213, sorry for interrupting there, but as I just said, that's still 62-point lead for Cruxis right now. So Avail, I'm not sure what the maximum race wins they can get with a top 4-9, but I reckon that Storm actually might need to try and stay closer to the pack, so when he does use that shock, at least he can try and pull out around 6th. Because Avail currently down 62, which is a really big GP deficit. I mean, 4 races, that's averaging around 15 points a race, which is quite hard to do.
They were with fantastic momentum in that beginning of that previous GP, but they're going to probably need to do even better than that this GP if they want to maybe salvage a bonus point or get a win.
Tams actually does just remind me, because there was actually a first race which we missed, so that was the 42 to 19 race, so there's actually only 3 races left. So that's even harder for Avail to win because of that. Because they played a Coconut Mall race, which we didn't actually get footage of, but there was a disconnection because of a CT picked after that. So 3 races, so they need an average of around 20.7 point per race, which obviously you can't do. But yeah, around 20 points a race they need. As Desert Hills is picked, which obviously is going to favour Avail. If you dodge in a star on the sand section at the end, that's going to save you a lot of time, especially if you can change shrooms from that.
Definitely what Avail will be looking to do, as we see Xander here in 6th place, looking to maybe get a good shroom item at the very beginning. Triple shrooms, he does get that, and he'll be holding that for the shortcut.
He pulls these triple shrooms all the way to 2nd, which is a reminder of what happened last match I actually casted, as he's more than likely going to do the 2 hill strat, which hopefully Xander will actually show you here if you don't know what it is, where you use 1 shroom and get over this hill and the next hill, as he is going to go for it here. He does get the bounce, but he doesn't actually properly make it, so he's forced to use his other shroom, and he's just going to shroom into 1st here, which is a fair enough decision.
Makes him vulnerable to a blue shell though, Zoan with an attempted snipe, but Xander does well to dodge out of the way of it, and he'll be looking to use his lines here to try and break away from Zoan, potentially with some back spam. Snipe Nana's coming in.
Great item avoided here. He's looking back to see when...
Top 2 for Cruxis.
Top 2 for Cruxis currently, as Crusher actually does stream past the zone there. As we see that, Daisy in the back is more than likely Storm. Yep, as the battle glitch just showed. That is Storm back there, who... He is most likely holding shock, but he definitely needs to catch up, kind of. But as we're going to see, we've still got a decent... I say the pack split in 2. There are them top 4 runners, and then the rest of the players most likely are Avail members just trying to get that dodges, sorry.
Yeah, Xander's doing well here to break away at the moment.
Exactly. There's only an amount of time you can actually spend back there, because if they do dodge, I don't even think it's going to be enough to catch up to these top 3 spots now, as we can see a massive break coming out.
Yeah, massive pack divide at the moment. And
I'm not sure who's behind Xander here. There is a Rosalina, which Bolan does use quite a few times, so that might be him behind him. Actually, yeah, that Rosalina's fallen into 3rd now. As a shock does come in right at the end, someone is going to dodge in a star on that hills, as we can see on the mini-map.
I doubt they're going to be getting first.
They're not going to be able to steal first, as they do shroom at the last second, but no. Xander does hold on to his 1st place, as more than likely this is going to be a race win for Cruxis.
Although there were quite a few of those spots behind 1st place and 2nd place looked like they went to Avail.
Yeah, they definitely did well to catch up at the end, but once again, as we said, you can't fall back that much. If they were closer when they used that shock, they definitely could have pulled out like at least a top 2.
Yeah, for sure.
But they are getting that 2-3, 2-3-5, which is probably, it's a very close race, but they can't have close races. They need top 3s and top 4s. Exactly.
It keeps them in contention, but it makes it very unrealistic for them to be aiming for a win.
I mean, this has happened with a few matches so far, where GP1 has been an absolute landslide, but And then the other two GPs, they're slowly crawling back into it, but it's just too late. I mean, they really need two really big races here, or Cruxis is just going to take the win, and Avail won't even get their bonus point, which they're more than likely only going for right now.
Although Avail definitely would have been sending out a message to all the other teams in the division, as if to say, if you want to beat Cruxis, this is the way to do it, because those shocks have really been getting them back in the race.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, maybe some of these other teams in the division will have better front-running ability than Avail do. So with those added shocks, I think Cruxis could find in future matches that they're going to be broken down by the other teams bagging.
I think a good team to compare Avail to and what they need to kind of do is with Wollywogs. Because Wollywogs obviously played Cruxis and they beat them, and the main reason they beat them is because they were doing the same things that Avail were doing, but they just had more running presence. They have players like TK64 obviously and Killua, aka Cool, who can obviously just stay up there in them top spots, and then the other players can just utilise them shocks.
Yeah, and it's the exact same.
Sunset Ridge getting picked there. Hopefully, luckily it didn't get picked. But as we just said, you just need players to be up there.
Yeah.
You can't let the players who are holding dodges fall behind that much.
It's the exact same thing with Charge Brigade. That's why Charge Brigade and Wollywogs are the two best teams in the division.
Yeah,
they have the balance between good baggers and good front runners, and that's not really what Cruxis has.
I think Cruxis just basically, they're literally all front run. I mean, I think they did have Vito last season bagging 1 or 2 matches, and the main reason he bags is just to hold the shock for their team, because obviously they're not going to be able to dodge as much. As the TC does get past the ball in their zone, as you can see, Shrooms into first, so he's going to be breaking away, but they're picking the wrong tracks to front run on. As more than likely they are going to get the shock, so Cruxis won't be dodging up, as Xander's going to hold this star more than likely. He might actually chain it coming up to second set of this lap, because he is falling behind, which he doesn't really want to be doing right now, so if he does chain his star this next set, it would not surprise me.
Massive break for first place at the moment.
That is zone, and he's gone by about 2 or 3 seconds now.
Yeah.
It looks like that was a really good shock on part of Avail, because that was literally a first frame dodge for them, so Xander wasn't able to use his star, but once again, 2 stars being shocked out of Xander, but he's going to go and chain another one anyway, so it does look like still Hexen, Mikey, and Crusher up there still, with Mikey behind Xander, but Zone does fall because of that shock, and now there's someone else in first with a breakaway, which hopefully is Avail.
I think it was the Avail guy that dodged. That's place.
But once again, it's good to dodge 1 or 2 people up there, but right now they need all 4 of their team up there.
Xander is training his star for triple reds, might look to unleash those on Ballin, but he's not able to do so due to the mega.
Zone doing a good job being in his mega to be able to shield her. But he does get starred actually, because he starred. So
I believe that's a Avail bottom 3 here.
That is an Avail bottom 3, so I think it's mathematically impossible to get the
thing. That's the end of that.
But I think if they still run, then if they get Storm to run and they get a top 5, then more than likely they can get bonus point. But that honestly is unrealistic as of now, because they're going to need this shock to get out there. But anything is possible.
Especially on tracks like Mario Circuit, they'll be looking for maybe a Luigi Circuit or something.
I reckon if Cruxis just get their track pick here, they're more likely just going to win this match, because I say they're up about... Actually, I don't even know if it's possible for Avail to get the bonus point at this stage, but we're not sure. As Avail are going to go pick Luigi Circuit, which, once again, one of them luck tracks with that last shortcut that you can do, just one of them short tracks which you can dodge into first. And on the other hand, we have Grumble Volcano, BC3, Cooper Cave, and Dry Ruins, which are all tracks that you can front run, even though they do have shortcuts. Grumble Volcano, so this is one of the hardest tracks to get top 5 in, mainly just because of that shortcut.
Definitely got to give props to Cruxis though, in the sense that even with all these luck tracks and bagging tracks, they've still been...
Yeah, exactly. That's the good thing, that they're all tier 1 players, so even though we are getting these luck tracks, and Avail have been getting the majority of track picks, Cruxis can still front run all of these tracks.
Yeah.
As Avail are using some good shocks, but I just think that they're falling behind too far, as I think Hexen there just backspammed one of his reds and got 3 Avail members, so...
Looks as though the Avail bagger will be racing this time top 3 for Cruxis at the moment.
As Simon just said, we noted out that Storm most likely is going to need to run, as he does actually stop at the boxes there, so... If he does stop, I don't think it's going to be possible, as Hexen actually bumping Xander off the rock hop there, but Hexen actually
made it himself.
Hexen did make it, so Hexen is currently going to be in first. It's a 1-3-4-5 Cruxis right now, and Storm, as we just said, he's too far behind, and the max win you can actually get with a top 4-10 is plus 29, which easily is not enough to get that bonus point, so I'm not really sure why Storm's doing this, but...
I think they may have potentially given up hope on getting this bonus point at the moment, even though it is possible.
Yeah, as you can see, Storm going backwards on the map now, so pretty much virtually impossible right now for them to get the bonus point. As Xander, once again, showing that he's actually a team player by going back all the way with his Mega some of the Avail members.
Lucio, yeah, with
throw that blue. I think that was because Bolin actually went into first there, as we can see that Rosalina in first on the minimap. Bolin getting blued, as soon as Avail have running presence, it just seems to distinguish.
Xander holding a start here, may be able to dodge quite a predictable shot from Avail's behalf, and maybe bottom 3 for Avail at the moment, bottom 4 even when including Bolin, and Xander's got to be looking to dodge a shot here and get himself a good finish this race.
Yeah, exactly. I just think that Cruxis, once again, as we've said, their running power is just going to be the main reason why they do win matches. As I'm trying to find the schedule. Alright.
Manages to make the lava respawn in a star.
I did not even know that was possible.
I did know that was possible, but it's very difficult. But he manages to pull it off.
Doing that from now on, so yeah. Once again, I'm not sure who won that race, but obviously it wasn't good enough, so... I think that's going to conclude this match. I'm actually just going to go and quickly cheat and go look at the results overall for the table. Does anyone have the table? Can you post it in the chat, please? Skype chat, even. So yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up that match. So once again, as we've just seen from that match, Cruxis getting mainly all the top spots, holding them top spots, and just not good enough for Avail. Like, they just can't utilize them shots as well as possible. So I think there's still 4 or 5 streams which are going to be happening throughout the day. In 20 minutes, we're going to have Realm and Tommy, who are going to be casting a replay of Untouchables versus MOI. In 3 hours, sorry, we're going to have Simon and possibly me again casting a live match of Sweaters versus Final Stand, which is the first CT match which we're actually going to be casting. And then we're going to have a small break, and actually there's a... Savannah is actually hosting a free-for-all today, so we might get around to casting that, depending if we have casters at the time of the FFA final. And lastly, we're going to be bringing you Yawn Drift versus Lost in the Sky, which is, once again, another CT match which we'll be bringing you. As I've just put the table in the chat for you, so as we can see, looking at them scores, it's actually a top 5 overall for Cruxis, as they do go ahead and win that match by...
No one breaking 100.
No one breaking 100, which is really surprising, but yeah. I did not expect a top 5, I thought Zoan would have scored. But as we see, we did not actually cast the entirety of GP1. As we see, Zoan does choke that GP1 with his 11 points. And looking at this table, we did miss the GP1 because we didn't have footage, unfortunately, but looking at the scores, we've got 38, 37, 34, and 34. So that's a top 4-6 for Cruxis at GP, which is the main reason they actually won this match. As Avail did mount a comeback GP2, but then Cruxis once again just getting them good tracks and just front running. So I think that's going to wrap it up for now. In 20 minutes we're going to introduce Tommy and Realm for the next match, which will be an Untouchables versus MOI rematch. I just want to say thank you for Simon for coming on the cast today.
Thank you very much.
And thank everyone for watching, and we will be back in around 20 minutes. The stream will go offline as we do transition to the next match, but stay tuned and be back in 20 minutes for some more